Shanti, Namaste. Thank you for joining me, Bev Hetherington here from Nutri5 Plus. So, welcome to my One Posture Wednesdays. I'm offering free 15 minutes or so to break down one posture. So as more of us decide to move at home, I wanted to build a library which you can access from my website, www.nutri5plus.co.uk. And from there's a link to my YouTube channel. So I've been building up slowly a couple of postures. Now there's also a couple of other bits and bobs on there, about 10-15 minutes sequences. So if you've got limited time or you're one of our key workers, thank you, then you might be practicing yoga outside schedules, timetables that are being offered by studios and teachers. So please, if that's you, you are welcome to this library and to share with your colleagues. So this morning I'd like to look at Vamanasana, which is also known as tabletop posture. So let's come to our hands and our knees. So for a lot of us, being on the knees can be a little bit painful or challenging. So I've got a nice blanket here and I'm going to put down, and then I'm going to put my knees on top of the blanket. And you might like to have it all the way along so it supports the top of the shin and the ankles and the top of the feet and the 10 toes. And I'm just kind of starting to sort of move from side to side. I'm just getting a feeling of the sides of the body and starting to connect with stacking. So I've stacked my hip over my knee, both hips over both knees, and the knees are hip distance apart. And I'm really working to get the shins down and the top of the feet down. And also the 10 toes are spreading. So I'm really starting to activate into the feet and legs. And then what's happening with the arms, so we're inviting a stack again. You can see shoulder, elbow and wrists are stacking. And I'm really starting to draw focus to the crook of the elbow. So I'm just going to come to face you for a moment to explain what I mean here. So quite often in this posture, I see people drawing the crook of the elbow towards front, what I'm demonstrating now. And if you do this, having a little play with this, you'll notice it shortens this area here from one collarbone to the other. So what we'd like to do is draw the crook of the elbows to face each other. And now this is broadened and lengthened, and it's invited more space here. So that's what we're looking for in terms of the crook of the elbow. I also see people that have the hands forwards of the shoulders. Try to have the stack. Try to have a little buoyancy, a little micro bend in the elbow if you like. So we're not locking and we're not hyperflexing, overextending. So you'll see that sometimes in people, if I just come to the side, you'll see if they're really strong, they almost, you can see it there, it kind of comes in and then out. So that's a hyperflexion. So we're kind of softening into those joints. And when we have a softer joint awareness, just a micro bend or so, it's kinder on the joints. It also is, if you are somebody that has lots of hyperflexibility, hypermobility in your body, your joints, learning to come back to this place is really important in our practice. A place where there's a stack, if you like, where there's a micro bend in the joints. So we're always aware of our joints. And then what's happening with the fingers and thumbs? Well, I'm really pressing into the fingers and thumbs. So I'm checking that there's no light at all underneath any of the knuckles, fingers, thumbs, pads, palm, heel of the hand. And this is really engaging and starting to spread the fingers and thumbs. And the same with the toes, in fact. So we're actually trying to engage at the webbing in between fingers and thumbs and toes. Because there's lots of nerve endings in hands and feet, and also over half the bones in the body in hands and feet. So we really want to access these areas. And it's our connection to the ground, which is really important because we move from the ground. You know, the ground is our little support. It's our trampoline, if you like. It gives us the buoyancy and lift that we can press down, up, and away from. And then what's happening with the body, the torso itself. So quite often I see people collapse. So now I've collapsed off the lower back and the belly has dropped forwards and I've collapsed in between my shoulder blades. And then the head can collapse as well. So what we're inviting is a draw of the belly into the back body and also the heart space in between the shoulders. So we're not rounding, but we're actually flat now. So we're inviting the tailbone to go straight backwards and the crown of the head to go straight forwards. And now we're starting to invite length in our spine. So just to recap, so we're lengthening our spine, we're drawing the heart, if you like, in between the shoulder blades. So imagine someone's put their palm in between your shoulder blades and you're lifting your heart to meet it. And then the same, the front rib area, don't let them collapse, draw them into the back body, and the belly area, draw it to the back spine. And you're pressing that tailbone long away from you and pressing the crown away from you, so opposite directions. So you're elongating, lengthening your spine. So my gaze is straight down. I'm kind of making a triangle with the thumb tip and the other thumb tip from the right to the left hand with my gaze. And I'm not collapsing into my shoulders, and I'm kind of lifting out of my shoulders. And everything's now starting to work, to be switched on, if you like. So we're really spreading 10 toes, we're really reaching through the crown, we're really sending the tail backwards. There's length in the body and everything's starting to engage. So muscles suck up to bones and protect joints in doing so, and we have activity, we have lift and length. And then this posture, you might like to take a little rest before we move on a bit, is a great posture to transition. So again, if you're new to yoga, you might have been noticing that there's an offering of coming from down dog, and I will workshop this posture as well, to step the foot forwards to the hands. Now, for a lot of us, that's a long stride. So tabletop Varmanasana is a wonderful place to step the feet to the hands from, because it's not as far for a start. And you can inhale and bring that one foot forwards. And even if it doesn't come that far, you can let it come to where it comes to. And then you can take the corresponding hand to the corresponding calf, so right hand to right calf in this case, and help it forwards. And then you might come onto your fingers and your thumbs, finger and thumb tips, and press in, and you might then help yourself to step up to a forward fold, which I'll talk about on another One Posture Wednesday. So this is a great transition posture. It's also a great stabilizer because we're connecting with fingers, thumbs, wrists, forearms, elbows, shoulders, the chest, the belly, the back, the hips, the pelvis, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the shins, the top of the feet and the 10 toes, and the webbing in between fingers, thumbs and toes. And we've got an awareness of that length in the spine. And we're reaching the crown of our head forwards. The gaze is straight down, so we're making a little triangle with our gaze. So the thumb tips and the gaze completes the triangle. And we're really reaching back through our tailbone. We're not locking at the elbows. There's a micro bend there. And we're inviting the crook of the elbow to face each other. Keep trying to broaden in between your collarbones, invite space there, and soften the shoulders. And keep thinking about placing the joints on top of one another. So you find that stack in the body, which is an essence of buoyancy, of lift, and you get that feeling of slight lightness when everything is stacked because it's all on top of one another. And then from here, quite often you would find people would move into a cow and a cat posture. So great for just moving a little deeper into the spine. And we might inhale and move to cow or Visalasana, slowly dropping the belly, tilting the tailbone up, and maybe taking the gaze forwards or a little higher if that's okay for your neck. And then exhaling, and we would move into Marjarasana, so a cat posture, and slowly rolling chin to the chest and sucking the belly into the back spine a little bit more. Try not to lock those elbows. So again, we would inhale, Vittanasana, coming through to our little cow. We're lifting the tail and the heart, and maybe the gaze is forwards, or it might go a little higher up. And as we exhale, Marjarasana, we move into our cat. Dropping the chin to the chest, sucking the belly to the back spine. Don't lock the elbows. You might like to go there a few more times. Inhaling, letting the breath happen a moment before the movement for our Vittanasana, our cow posture. And then exhaling, letting the breath happen a moment before the movement. As we roll the chin to the chest, draw the belly to the back spine, the Marjarasana. And then you might come back to your neutral. And you might, if you've been watching these One Posture Wednesdays, then perhaps come down to your seat. And then we've got a little sequence going on. So we've got our child's posture, which I've mentioned a couple of the Wednesday before last. And you can support, with a cushion or a pillow. Something maybe under the seat. If the seat's not finding the ground, perhaps a cushion. Something for the forehead, and the hands might come alongside the feet to rest up those shoulders for a moment or two. And then you might bring those hands forwards. You might slowly remove your props. You might come back to your tabletop and connect up, wrist, elbow and shoulders to stack. Micro bend in the elbows. Connect fingers and thumb pads. No light underneath any part of the hands. Reaching the crown forward, sending the tail back. Hips are over knees. Sculpt the belly in, sculpt the ribs in, sculpt the heart in, so there's a long spine. And really connect through the shins, the top of the feet and the 10 toes. And then you might move to that little cat-cow stretch. So from there we go cow, Vittanasana, inhaling, leading. Breath leads that lift of the tail and the heart and the gaze. And as we exhale, we move through to cat, Marjarasana. Dropping the chin through to the chest, sucking the belly to the back spine. And then from there, you might come back to your neutral as you inhale, long spine. And as you exhale, you may go back to your seat, to that child's posture. So there's a little sequence there. You might inhale and rise up, keeping everything stacked, long spine, don't lock the elbows. Exhale there. And then you might inhale and lift the head, the heart and the tail, moving into that cow posture, Vittanasana. And then you might exhale, letting the breath lead you towards Marjarasana, or cat posture, chin to chest, belly to back spine. And then you might inhale and come back through to your neutral. And as you exhale, you might sit the seat towards the feet. So that's a little sequence for you, really nice for the back body. Really lovely to do first thing in the morning, to open up around the hips and the spine if you're feeling a little bit tight from sleeping all night. Really lovely to do in the middle of the day to wake up the spine if you've been sitting at a desk, and fantastic to do in the evening to prepare for sleep. So thank you so much for joining me. This will be put onto my YouTube channel over the next day or so. So please do have a look on the website, www.nutri5plus.co.uk. Thanks so much. Take care of yourselves and one another. Om Shanti. Namaste.